So I have not had the most fun April in the world. Um, and because of that, books have happened. Even though I wanted to make 2016 the year where I mostly read books that I already own, I wanted to cut down on my book buying. When bad things happen, I go shopping, and normally that's for books. So that's why I have 30, something like 33, 34 books to show you today for this April book haul. Um, so yeah, and I did buy all of them apart from one, which I was given by a friend. So money has gone on books this month. So I'm going to get right on into it. And the first one you've already seen, and that is The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. I got this in my fairy loot box for April. I've looked up what it's about since then. It's a story about a girl who is a countess, and to escape an arranged marriage, she poses as a servant girl. And she enters into this glittering court, which is like a school for that teaches serving girls to become noble women, which she secretly already is. So yeah, I am really looking forward to getting into it. It is newer than I thought it was because I had seen some American booktubers get some arcs of it, and that's why I thought it had come out already, but it has only come out this month. So yeah, but as I said, you've already seen this. If you have seen my Fairy Loot unboxing, I will leave a link to that video down below if you guys would be interested. The next one is a book that my real life best friend recommended to me. She said, I think you'll really like it. And that is The Little Shop of Happy Ever After by Jenny Colgan. This is an adult romance book. It's a kind of chick litty read, but it sounds really cute and light and fluffy, and it's probably actually what I need right now. This was her copy that she gave to me. I have looked up what the synopsis is. It's about a girl who opens her own bookshop in Scotland, and it's just a cute story about the community and her life in this bookshop. I think it's on a bus or something like that. So she has a bus and she has a bookshop within the bus. So that sounds really cute, and this is going to be on my May TBR because, as I said, this is the kind of thing that I think will give me a little bit of a lift, which is what I need right now. So yeah. The next one is a graphic novel that I picked up this month, and that is Wonder Woman Volume 1. This is the new 52. This one's called Blood. I haven't read this yet, but I adore me some Wonder Woman, so I cannot wait to get into this new series. I did read some of the individual issues when they came out because I found them in a comic book shop and I picked them up and I read them. So I may have actually read the beginning of this, but I haven't read it like as a volume, as a bind up. So yeah. The next one I have is the third in a series, and that is Vision in Silver by Anne Bishop. I have the other two. The first one is called Written in Red, and the second one is called Murder of Crows. This is an adult urban fantasy about either werewolves or shapeshifters, I think, something like that. But I first heard about it on Lindsay Ray's channel, who is a booktuber who I absolutely love. She reads a lot of urban fantasy. I will link her channel down below. So yeah, I now have the whole trilogy and I can marathon them. The next one is Me Being Me is Exactly as Insane as You Being You by Todd Hassack Lowy. I think that's how it's pronounced. This is a YA contemporary about a high school. It's YA in high school, and it's about a guy who's not had the easiest year, but he's just trying to kind of figure out all of the normal trials and tribulations of being a high school student with his family, with girls, with school, and everything like that. But it's unique because it's told pretty much entirely in lists. So it's quite a thick book and it's really floppy, which I really like. But yeah, the whole thing is told in lists pretty much. So I'm really, really looking forward to that because I've never read a book that is told in lists, and I like books that are told in different formats normally because I like sometimes like a break away from the traditional sort of prose style books. So yeah. The next one I have is the third in a trilogy again, and that is Half Lost by Sally Green. This is a YA witch trilogy, which I have yet to start, but I now have the entire trilogy, so I can just marathon them. This is slightly smaller than I was expecting. I think it's smaller than both of the other two books. The first one's called Half Bad, and the second one's called Half Wild. But I absolutely adore the covers on this trilogy. They're all just beautiful. So, yeah. The next one I have is a sequel, and that is The Map of Bones by Francesca Haig. This is the sequel to The Fire Sermon, which I also have in these beautiful, beautiful hardcovers. I'm not a fan of the UK paperbacks of this. Well, it's so far as a duology, but I think it's going to be a trilogy. It's about, I haven't read the first book, story of my life. But it's about a world where everyone is born as a twin, and one twin is called the Alpha, and they are very strong and healthy, and the other twin is called the Omega, and they normally have like some kind of deformity, I think. And basically, if one twin dies, the other one dies. So I think it's pretty much a fantasy dystopian based on that idea. It's a really, really unique concept, and I did actually meet Francesca Haig at last year's YA literature convention in London, and I got my copy of The Fire Sermon signed by her then, and I told her that it was a really unique concept, and she was like, oh, thank you very much, which it is, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this series. So now I have the first two. I think I will be reading it pretty soon, so yeah. The next one I saw in a recent book haul by Gillian at Bookish and Nerdy. She's another one of my favourite booktubers. I will also leave her channel down below. And that is Hour of the Bees by Lindsay Eager. I got this from Amazon, but I got it from it's like a second hand seller, I think, that goes through Amazon. And it came with this like rip at the top, which I was really, really disappointed about. But oh well, I'll read it. And you know, it'll annoy me for a bit, but I think, you know, I could possibly go over it. It's not too bad. I mean, yeah, it's ripped, but what can you do? Yeah, this is a story, a really, really interesting plot. Certainly Gillian described it as that. I think it's about a girl whose uncle lives on a farm in New Mexico, and uncle or grandfather, I think it might be her grandfather. Grandfather lives on a farm in New Mexico, and he has dementia, and she goes to visit him, and I think he's about to go in a home, and she goes to visit him to sort of say goodbye to the farm, and he starts telling her these stories, these weird stories of weird goings on that happen on the farm. And I think she notices a swarm of bees like start following her or something while she's talking to her uncle or her grandfather at the farm. And I think he kind of sees things that other people can't see, and I think she starts to realise that the bees have something to do with that, and maybe it's not his dementia, it's possibly something a little bit more supernatural or paranormal going on. So yeah, it sounds like my sort of thing. That's probably a really terrible explanation that I've just given you guys, but look it up on Goodreads. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's a really new release as well, I think, so yeah. The next one I have is another third in a trilogy, and that is The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rutkowski. This is another YA fantasy trilogy, which I have not yet started, but they have absolutely stunning covers. I think this is the end of the series now. I think this is another trilogy, and I think it's about an upper class girl who takes a slave and falls in love with him or something like that. So I now have all three of these books, and again, another plan for a marathon, so yeah. The next one I have is a new release this month, and that is The Shadow Queen by CJ Redwine. I picked this up while it was only £4 on Amazon, and I was really, really excited. I thought, okay, I have to get that. I absolutely adore the cover, and I think this is a dark retelling of Snow White, which I absolutely love dark retellings of fairy tales, so I'm really, really looking forward to getting into this as well. Let's be real, I'm looking forward to all of these books. I wouldn't have bought them or acquired them if I wasn't, so yeah. The next one is a book that has been talked about quite a lot, and that is The Poison Artist by Jonathan Moore. I think this has a kind of Dexter feel to it, like the TV show Dexter, which I really, really do enjoy what I've seen of. I haven't actually seen all of it, but what I've seen of it I do like, so I need to get to the end of that. I do know what happens in the end though, so I've kind of been spoiled for it. Yeah, I think this has a kind of Dexter feel to it. I think there's forensic science involved and obviously murders. So I think it's like it looks quite short, quick to get through. I think it's set in San Francisco as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I know. But I've heard really, really good things about it. It's very dark, very twisted. So that sounds like my sort of thing. So it also has a Stephen King blurb on it saying, I haven't read anything so terrifying since Red Dragon. So pretty much anything that Stephen King blurbs, I will be interested in. So yeah. The next book I have is very, very exciting, and I pre-ordered this and got it on the release date, and that is The Night That Changed Everything by Laura Tate and Jimmy Rice. These is the same two authors who wrote The Best Thing That Never Happened to Me, which I've been raving about. Yeah, I pretty much know nothing about it. I think it's in a similar vein to their last book, but I had to pre-order it because I loved their first one so much. I think it's just a adult contemporary romance about two people who realise that they are in love, and cute fluffy stuff is what I need right now. I will actually be reviewing this when I get around to it, because I said it's a fairly new release, so yeah. The next one I have, I got in a charity shop, and I was really, really happy to see it there, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I've heard such amazing things about this book, I cannot even describe. I know it's about video games, I know it has a lot of 80s pop culture, and that's pretty much all I know, because I want to go into this kind of semi-blind, I think, because I tend to like quite enjoy doing that. I like going into books without too many good expectations, but I do have some expectations to this because I've heard so many good things about it. So yeah, I think it's about a guy who is really into a certain video game, and he's kind of spent his life studying the sort of puzzles that are involved in it, and I think he finds himself getting sucked into it, and a battle, race against time kind of thing ensues. But as I said, I think there's a lot of 80s pop culture in it, which I'm pretty into, so yeah. The next one I have is also in a series that I haven't started, and that is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the Raven Cycle series. So I now have the first two books, so I can read them and see if I like the series, and I will pick up the third one, which is out already, and the last one, which is either just come out or coming out very soon. So yeah, again, absolutely stunning covers, and I think that's why I've decided to buy this series in physical form rather than e-reader. So yeah, basically if a book has a pretty cover, then I will buy it rather than have it on Kindle. So yeah. The next one I have is The Loney by Andrew Michael Hurley. This is an adult horror book, which Stephen King has also said awesome things about. He says on the back, "The Loney is not just good, it's great, it's an amazing piece of fiction." That's just a very general comment from Stephen King, but it's Stephen King who is the master of horror storytelling. So yeah, I think this is about two brothers. One of them has some sort of disability, I think, and he depends on his older brother pretty much. I think he's kind of mostly dependent on him, and they visit a sacred shrine on a sort of stretch of coastline known as the Loney, and this place is quite sort of haunting. It's quite dark, it has a lot of secrets, and I think one day a body of a child washes up on the shore, and obviously that kind of throws up a whole dark situation, and I think they go on to solve like who this child is or something like that. I don't know, but it sounds really good. It won the Costa Book Awards last year, so, and Stephen King likes it, so that's why I bought it. So yeah. And the next one I have is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Science. This has been on my Amazon wishlist for the longest time, and I just thought, do you know what, I'm just going to buy it because why not? It's won a whole load of awards. I've heard awesome things about it on BookTube. I think this is I know it's a YA contemporary about two boys called Aristotle and Dante, and I think it might be like a road trip story, I think. And I know there's LGBT themes in this as well, which I'm quite interested in. So yeah, that is that. I think I might split this book haul into two parts. So I'm going to leave all of the rest of the books I have in another video. So I will see you very soon. Very soon. I'm going to go film it right after I've stopped the camera right now. So I will see you very soon for the second part of my April book haul. Bye bye.